Hello ladies and gentlemen, it's the Historical Gamer once again, and I know a lot of you have been asking, when am I going to return to Rule the Waves? When am I going to play Rule the Waves again? When are we going to resume the war? Well, I can tell you that today is the day that we will return to Rule the Waves. I would like to get a more regular schedule behind this. I think it would be easier to fans and whatnot if I could just tell them, hey, listen, this day is when the next episode will come up, and maybe just have like a once a week type deal, like Tuesdays or something like that. I don't know. So I am considering that, but I guess we'll also see how long this game goes on. We're already 10 years into a 25-year game, so who knows? Maybe it'll be over before too long. We're doing okay prestige-wise. We're playing as Japan, as you remember. We're at war with France, as you can see here with the tensions and diplomatic levels here on the right. Our prestige is up 6 or 7 from where we started. Tonnage on foreign stations is okay. Dock sizes are up to 23,000 tons. We're building a larger dock so we can build bigger battleships still. No build requirements or treaties or anything like that. We currently have a $4.5 million deficit, but we've got $63 million in funds, so that's well over, what is that? I can't do math. Not a year and a half, but over a year, like 1 year and 4 months or something like that. Again, I can't do math. We've got several battleships here. We've got a couple of battle cruisers under construction. They're still a little ways away. We've accelerated them, but they're still 8 or 9 months away, and they're being constructed in the U.S. And I'm not really sure if the U.S. will hand those ships over to us or not because we are in the midst of a war. We are in a war with France, and not much has happened yet. We've had some success with some raiders raiding French transports and merchant ships, but other than that, not much has occurred yet. So with that being said, let's go ahead and jump ahead and move into the next turn. Okay, so a couple of new ships and a superimposed B turret. So again, we're French submarine sink 1, Japanese raider sinks 2, French raider sinks 1. So a pretty even turn there. And not much happened that turn. We did have some ships finish working up. You can see here the budget improved a little bit, and we're up to 6 months of war. So we'll go ahead and jump ahead another turn. A spy from Germany's been discovered. We're going to handle it quietly and discreetly. We could give maximum publicity and get more budget, but it would increase tensions with Germany, who's already pretty high. And the last thing is we need fighting is another war with another enemy at the same time. French submarines. Japanese raiders, and it looks like there's a cruiser action. So enemy forces in the area estimated 2 light cruisers and 1 minesweeper, whereas our own forces, not sure, up to 7 battleships, 5 light cruisers, and 13 destroyers, but it doesn't really tell us what. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to jump in, and maybe we'll have a cruiser action here. Okay, so you can see here we've got a cruiser action. It looks like we've only got 1 light cruiser. Lovely. So we only have 1 light cruiser under our command. Take a look. It's one of our 6-inch gun cruisers. So it has 6 6-inch guns, 10 3-inch guns, and 5,600 tons. So I believe it's one of our older cruiser models, the Tsushima class. But yeah, I didn't want to decline the battle because if you do decline the battle, then you actually can lose. Let's see here. Sorry about that. So if you do decline a battle, you do lose victory points. So basically, if we were to decline that battle, then we would kind of suffer for it. We'll go ahead and we'll play. So we spotted an unknown ship behind us. It's probably another light cruiser, which if that's the case, I'm not too hopeful of our odds, but we'll turn into it. We'll see what happens. Looks like it's an enemy destroyer. So we might actually hold a chance versus an enemy destroyer. Probably should angle it ourselves better. Looks like we're firing. You can see these little white flashes indicate shell splashes. Actually, it's it's a light cruiser. It's not a destroyer. So you can see there the game does give you the option to cite or misrepresent or something to that effect. Basically, you can misidentify an enemy. See, when they get further away, it looks like they are thought to be a cruiser, but when you're or a destroyer. But when you close in, they appear to be a cruiser. So we can make 21 knots, but it looks like the enemy's probably faster than us. I'm guessing we did okay in terms of the fighting. We can go back to the OOB, right-click on status, and take a look. You can see here we took basically no damage, no hits at all. We inflicted no hits on the enemy. So just 71 rounds fired to no effect. The enemy also not having it showing any effect. You can see here we've started closing on the Jean Bart class cruiser. Looks like we may be faster than it. Or if not faster, then the exact same speed. Doesn't seem like we're closing all that fast. Still out of range, it would appear. Be nice if we got some reinforcements or something. I think we're literally the exact same speed. I think they just turned poorly. Be great if I had other ships show up, but I don't really feel like chasing this guy forever. So we'll slow down, we'll pull out. And just wait for the battle to end. So that was a disappointing engagement. It looks like the enemy decided not to fight us, and both of us were undamaged, but we were the defender of our convoys, so at least in that sense, it was a successful battle. We'll go ahead and we'll exit out of here now. Okay, so you can see the battle was a draw, but at least we didn't lose any VPs. We could lay down some AMCs. Maybe we should actually do that. So if we pull this in here, you can see we can design an AMC that's an armed merchant cruiser. It was something that was pretty popular as a response to submarines during World War I. Basically, the idea is it's a cruiser that you throw, or it's a merchant ship that you throw guns on. So we do that. We'll go ahead and have an auto design. 2,500 tons with some guns, 5-inch guns. So I think we'll go ahead and save that design. Ammo allowance for the main guns on the side is on the low side. 120 gun rounds? I guess for maybe a 5-incher that would not be. But we do have some free. Okay, so we just bumped up the ammo a bit. I don't know, maybe we'll build like. Oh, that's expensive. Really? They're going to be that expensive? This will build 2. It's going to be putting us heavily in the red. You can see here that gives us about 10 months left in our current budget state, but with our ships under construction in 10 months, we'll have these 2 battleships out of construction, so we'll be in the positive from that. Okay, so let's go ahead and jump forward to the next turn. I don't think I have anything else. Oh yeah, I need to increase my patrol. Send some ships out on patrol. These guys are raiding. We'll just move him to patrol instead. You can see here, it looks like the crew... CP, what's that? I don't know what that means. CP, captured? I suppose they could be interned somewhere. Oh, coastal patrol. Duh. Never mind. The latest army offensive have turned into a bloody stalemate with appalling loss of life. Okay, so if you remember a few turns ago, we gave the army some extra money in order to launch an offensive, and it would appear that the offensive was not a success, which is not great because, again, we lost all that money, and the victory point allocations kind of stay as they are. You can see here we've got another cruiser action. There's a lot of cruiser actions in this game, and I could see getting bogged down in that and maybe not being totally thrilled with how many of those there are. We'll see what the enemy's intercepting us with. I'm an idiot. Guys, I'm sorry. I started describing the battle and I didn't even take the moment to change the recording settings. For whatever reason, and I know I've done this before, but for whatever reason, the recording settings on this game are very particular, where when you go into a battle screen, you've got to change the recording window. Anyway, long story short, we had a light cruiser versus a French light cruiser. They got a torpedo hit on us and destroyed our light cruiser. So you can see here the enemy got over 400 victory points for sinking a 4,000-ton cruiser of ours. They definitely take the lead in the war at this point. So considering the dire war situation, the government's deciding whether to seek peace. Your opinion on strategic situation is sought. We should fight it on until we've secured victory. That will give us leverage. We should sound them out, but if we can get relatively lenient terms, we should accept a peace. Or the situation is desperate and we should get whatever terms we can get. No, we're going to continue fighting it out. It seems like our rating is doing a little bit better, and actually now it seems like we may have a slightly larger battle. It says battle size 3, which I don't really know what that means. But it says the enemy's forces in the area, 2 heavy cruisers, 3 merchant cruisers, a destroyer, and a minesweeper. Hopefully we can bring some of these battleships and light cruisers into the fray. If we can, I think we've got a good shot. But as I accept that battle, I'm going to remember to go ahead and change the capture window here, so now we can see what we've got to play with. So you can see we do have multiple ships. Looks like we've got 1 light cruiser and 3 destroyers, so hopefully the enemy doesn't have any heavy ships to deal with us. We've got the Takeso, which is another one of our light cruisers, the Tsushima class. That's probably better suited for, you know, not these types of actions, for more merchant ship actions. But we'll see what happens here. We'll go ahead and start the battle. And you can see we've spotted an unknown enemy ship directly ahead. So we'll just kind of continue on, and we'll see. We'll see here. So enemy has a heavy cruiser. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to order these destroyers. We're going to give them AI control and give them a division target of that. Roll. We're going to give them support, screen, patrol. Let's see here. I don't want them to make smoke. I'd like them to launch a torpedo attack. Alright, we're going to have them support. I'm going to guess we're going to get smashed here by this enemy cruiser, but we'll see. Torpedo just missed. So you can see our destroyers here launched a torpedo. That was that little line that was moving forward. And lost sight of the enemy. It does look like we fired a torpedo at them. I'm probably running things far too quickly here. We should slow them down. So the enemy's kind of coming. This must be a night fight. Or at least it's cloudy weather. You can see there another torpedo was fired at the enemy cruiser. So again, if we can hit the enemy cruiser with a torpedo, I think we've got a lot better shot. You can see there little red dots appear on your screen when you get a hit. But come on, destroyers, get in there and launch some torpedoes. Some torpedoes. Enemy ship hit by a torpedo. Yes! Oops. So let's see. We just hit the enemy ship with a torpedo. You can see those little lines in here. That's what they are. I'm not doing a good job of describing this, but that's what these little lines are. We're going to see how our cruiser's doing. Looks like it's suffering some pretty heavy damage, structure damage, and flotation. We've taken 4 medium hits, 2 lights. We've inflicted 13 hits, and the enemy, which probably doesn't do a whole lot, but the enemy has been hit by some torpedoes, which again is good. We're going to speed that up a little bit. You can see here those destroyers probably fired off about what's left of their torpedoes. I think we'll probably turn away. Maybe not. I don't know if we should try and close or not. You can see our max speed appears to be about 10 knots. Now, 1910 is kind of where things start getting a little bit better in terms of torpedo protection for ships. So the fact that, you know, we put a torpedo in them, if it was about 10 years earlier, would have probably sunk the ship for sure. But depending on its age and its design, it may have some torpedo protection, which could allow it to survive a hit from a torpedo. Looks like the enemy may be pulling out here as we accelerate things. Oh, we spotted it. Slow down. Okay, so we're back in contact with the enemy. And again, division target, enemy cruiser. Looks like we're all... No, one of our destroyers does have 4 torpedoes left, so I'm hoping they'll close in and launch a torpedo attack. That's... You can see here our light cruiser's speed looks like it's maxed out at about 10 knots. So we'll go ahead and we'll play... I don't want to play fast. We'll go ahead and we'll... Hopefully the enemy is a little bit battle damaged so that we can close with them. I don't need slower. You can see again the smoke screen or the smokestacks. Little white splashes represent artillery fire. Move it up to normal. Come on, destroyers. I guess I could take control of them. Why don't we do that? Speed 20 knots. Close in. So we'll have the destroyers fly ahead of our light cruiser. Okay, so... Wait, actually it looks like we're launching torpedoes. There you go, you can see we've just launched a torpedo. Only one. I would have preferred a spread. That would have made it more likely to hit. Okay, so that obviously didn't work. Torpedo missed. So we'll go ahead and we'll try and close in a bit. We'll see if we fire another one off at this close range. Apparently not. You can control the manual targeting of torpedoes too. I feel like if we can get another torpedo in it, we should be okay. I wonder if the fog of war element plays any kind of role in torpedoes. Like you think you have a hit where maybe you really don't. That type of deal. Alright. Let's adjust course a bit. We're going to run right alongside the enemy. Your secondaries will probably blast us to Kingdom Come, and then I don't know which ships of mine still have... Hit pause! Okay. Oh, look, we've already fired a torpedo. So there's one. Miss. Oh! The last ship to the France... Oh, they were hit by torpedo! Yes! Okay, France has no ships left at sea. The scenario is over. So as you can see here, we suffered heavy damage to one of our destroyers, but I'm okay with that. Medium damage to one of our light cruisers and light damage to one destroyer. Meanwhile, our kind of transport ships, which we were escorting, are all fine, and the French lost a heavy cruiser sunk. So 18,000 points, that represents the tonnage, I believe, of the ship, which that's a big ship if that's the case. You can see here points for damage to the enemy ship, 18,816. The enemy got some points for damage to our ship, but a major Japanese victory. Rear Admiral's mode, VP reduced by 10%, so I guess that's based on difficulty, but still. So we go ahead and do that. We're going to exit out of here. We'll jump back to the main screen. Okay, so you can see Japanese major victory, gain 1 prestige, owned VP 1300, enemy gets about 200. So that just flipped the VP results on their head. So we regain the lead over the enemy, and the enemy loses a heavy cruiser, which is pretty sweet. If we go to the Almanac, we can see here that France has a total of 21 heavy cruisers, so they still have quite a few left. When you compare it with what do we have, 6? But still, it's a pretty substantial victory. If we go to the map here, we can see It's estimated that France only has one heavy cruiser in this region, and that may no longer be the case now that I don't know if it updates at the end of turns or not. Meanwhile, let's see. Check South Asia. Doesn't say France has any ships, so that's excellent. France really doesn't have much in the way of ships to worry about than it would appear in the region, so that's certainly great. That's one of their few heavy ships in the region. Meanwhile, on our own end, since it looks like we lost... So far in this war, we've only lost one ship, a light cruiser. Some of these ships need to be under repair, right? Tsushima, that suffered damage, am I right? Oh, sweet. So when you fight a battle, it looks like you get a battle star too here on the screen. That's kind of neat. I would imagine they need to be repaired, wouldn't they? Well, I guess it'll handle that by itself. But anyway, so there you go. Japan at war for 9 months. We'll go ahead and save it. We just won a first victory. Granted, you know, I will say one thing about the game is that the naval actions tend to be very heavily cruiser action based, which realistically with the way we're fighting is probably the way things would end up, with a whole bunch of individual cruiser actions, because we're really just trying to raid the French economy to death. But it would be nice if there was a way to try and force more major engagements. Now, in this war, maybe that's not realistic, but it did seem like there weren't really any major engagements beyond the first one in the previous war. So, you know, that's my own little bit of feedback, is I think it would be nice if there was a way to have more direct control over the actions that occur. You know, a Grand Admiral certainly could have more control over when major fleet engagements occur, or at least have some way to try and attempt to force a major fleet action. But anyway, guys, that's where we're going to leave it here. It's November of 1910, where we've been at war for 9 months. We just won our first victory, which I know it may seem like a small thing, like sinking a heavy enemy cruiser, like, oh, big deal, you know, whatever, it's just one ship. But those are the types of actions that would be a big deal. I mean, this is certainly would be a similar type conflict to the War of 1812, where individual ship actions would be very important, especially in a raiding war. You know, the French don't have a massive battle fleet in the Pacific, and we don't have a massive battle fleet to begin with. So this is probably the way the war would unfold, is a lot of small individual actions. But that victory certainly got us out of the danger point, got us ahead in terms of victory points, and maybe will allow us to start controlling negotiations a bit. The nice thing about a war with France is if we're looking to expand the Japanese Empire, a war with France does give us plenty of options of colonies in the Pacific without having us being stuck kind of with like a colony like Angola on the other side of the world, where we really don't have any interests in. So anyway, guys, I appreciate you tuning in for this video. I hope you enjoyed the return to Rule the Waves. We saw both a victory and a defeat. The victory was far more important. And until next time, this is the Historical Gamer saying thank you for watching, and I'm out.